Hey everybody, my name's Colin, and I'm here to present my project on the corporate social responsibility at the company Patagonia. If you're not familiar with Patagonia, it's a pretty big lifestyle company in the soft line market. Their primary consumers are outdoor enthusiasts like myself. They're targeting hikers, climbers, skiers, fishermen, and pretty much every outdoorsman out there. They're looking to target. So they're doing a lot of pretty interesting things right now at Patagonia, and I'm really excited to share a little bit more about their corporate social responsibility that they're doing because it's something I'm very passionate about. I'm a huge outdoorsman. If I'm not here in class or if I'm not at work, you can definitely find me out in the mountains, hiking, hunting, fishing, and it's something I'm really passionate about. And I was really interested to research a little bit more about Patagonia and all the good things they're doing to help protect our public lands, our private lands, and help sustain our wildlife and improve our environment. So a little bit more about Patagonia. It's a lifestyle company based out of Ventura, California. It was founded in 1973 by Yvon Chouinard. It's a clothing design for outdoor enthusiasts. And a little bit something interesting about this is that Yvon really founded this company without really intentions of having a company. Yvon was an avid outdoorsman when he was young. During the 1950s, he was a climber. He also was an avid. He was also involved in a lot of different outdoor sports. One which involved training falcons and hawks to hunt, and that's really where he got his niche, and that's how he found his way into developing the billion-dollar company of Patagonia. So, to get a little bit more into detail, here's a little bit about the early years. So, as you can see, here's Yvon as a young man. Getting ready to climb Yosemite one fall, and here's a picture of him today. Much older now, gained a lot of wisdom from his company, but nevertheless, he has done a lot of great things, and he continues to do it, and he pushes people and young people to give back and help save the environment. So, like I said, he was wise beyond his years. He was very forward-thinking, and he had a lot of revolutionary concepts that most people today probably don't understand how he came up with them. So, some of the things that he rethought was the batons that he has around his neck in that image. At one point, they were one-time use. You could not reuse them, and they damaged the rock surfaces when it came to climbing. And we realized that's a problem. That's ruining the rock faces at Yosemite and many other popular climbing facilities across the United States and also Europe. So, he was able to design his own batons that were reusable, and they didn't damage the rock surface. They were able to be wedged into cracks by hand, and you were able to hook into them, and it made it more natural, and it gave the climber a better experience, and they were actually much safer. So he prided himself on quality equipment and changing current practices as well, and that's where he got into his softline company Patagonia to help protect climbers against the ropes against their chest, as well as provide gear that was going to keep them warm and moisture wicking. Patagonia's mission is solely based off of their reason for being, their core values, building the best product, causing no unnecessary harm, and protecting nature and giving back to different environmental organizations. The reason for being is the planet itself. Their whole dedication to their company is to make the planet better than they found it, and they want to be able to make sure that we protect it by investing in different environmental organizations, reducing pollution, reducing waste, and increasing our ability to recycle products and make them better and better for the environment. So, a lot of what Patagonia's core values are is a lot like myself and other outdoor enthusiasts, and that's what really represents the brand of their company. And they do this a lot by building their best product. That's not the most important thing to them. They do want to build the best product, but they also want to make sure that they're doing it the right way and they're not harming the environment or causing any unnecessary harm. And their whole company is pretty much solely based on saving the environment and really branding that and showing it amongst different outdoor enthusiasts. CSR Patagonia really started from the beginning. It wasn't something they just thought of one day and said, oh, maybe we should look into it, maybe we should invest in it. From day one, Yvon said that corporate social responsibility is a must for his company, and it can be brought all the way back to the early 1970s with the Ventura River Project. Basically, what this was a natural surf break that they wanted to protect. There was two dams built on each side of it, which stopped the flow of the water, and there was a sewage plant at the head of the dam, and it devastated the steelhead run, and the wildlife was slowly decimating around it. So Yvonne partnered with area wildlife biologist Mark Capelli, and he was able to take photographs of what was going on, document each thing, take pH levels of the water, compare it to what the water was like before, talk about the steelhead run and how it was so severely affected, and ended up defeating this project, and they had to go back and clean up the waterways to help return the steelhead run and make sure that they were, going back to normal, and they were able to use a grassroots plan, and it ended up working. So CSR Patagonia didn't stop there. As it progressed on as a company and expanded more into the softlines industry, they started the use of organic cotton, and they were the first company of their kind to do that. And if you're not familiar with organic cotton, it is cotton that is grown with no use of pesticides, so there's no chemicals involved to kill off the wildlife around it, and they actually ended up using hemp as well. That was during the 1980s. Looking into more, they actually ask for people to donate recycled clothing to help make some of their new clothing, so that they're not using waste and they're giving back to creating a good product that's not using too much fabric. And actually their backpacks are solution dyed, so there's zero water waste. And because the water waste is nothing, they're actually doing a lot of good by able to conserve millions of gallons of water each year. Also, $104 million were donated to environmental groups in 2018. They ran the More with Less campaign, and they actually tell their consumers if they don't need something, don't buy it. I said they don't want to wait. They don't want to waste your money, and they don't want you to waste their clothing fabric, because their main concern is taking care of the environment and making sure the world is a better place. And a lot of this has to do with their staff being on board with their upper management as well. And over 1,000 hours of community service was actually recorded in 2018 to environmental organizations by the Patagonia team. There's one thing for certain: Patagonia has been known for staying true. They avoided the term greenwashing. They've used organic cottons grown without pesticides to help avoid waste and hazardous chemicals that have been harmful to the environment, that killed off wildlife. That includes insects, mammals, birds, and they've always been known to give back to different environmental organizations. They actually have an app and a service called the Footprint Chronicles. You can go on their website and you can actually measure their environmental footprint and where they're doing a little bit more harm in certain areas and where they're doing really good. And it goes all the way down to talking about the number of workers in there and being very transparent. How many employees are in each facility, what's produced there, languages spoken, as well as the percentage of male and female workers. And showing that transparency shows that they're not afraid to tell you what's going on there. They know already what they're doing, and they're not afraid to show it. And this goes back to how they treat their employees and their production mills, so that you can see that there's no backdoor schemes going on, nothing going with closed doors. They're completely open about it, and they want to show it off because they know it's a great asset they have to their company. Their advertising is actually pretty interesting as well, because they've never run a video advertisement. They use an advertising strategy that allows them to be transparent and talks about them being environmentally friendly. They advertise heavily on social media and to target young consumers, because they do a lot of marketing for their company, and it actually works out really well for them. They don't advertise to make the most. They want to make a difference in the world, and that's their main goal as a company. They want to reduce their footprint and not increase their revenue. And they'll tell their consumers they're not to waste their money on their products. They don't need it. And they did the campaign, Don't Buy This Jacket campaign, and it was a hit. It was featured in the New York Times, and they would talk about how they want to reduce, repair, reuse, and recycle. And if you don't need a product, not to waste your money. And so it also doesn't waste the fabric it takes to make a new jacket. Patagonia has never released a commercial in 43 years until now. And it isn't even about them. This advertisement was aimed towards our public lands, and it was just in time for President Trump's bill to protect more than 770 million acres. And Patagonia cares more about their mission than selling their products, and they know that if they convey this message across to their consumers, they will fight alongside with them. So there's a little bit more about CSR Patagonia, talking about what they're doing. Patagonia has had a huge emphasis on CSR, and it's what their company is completely built on. They've set the standard, and here's a little chart outlining the 2018 CSR efforts. They have a report I'll include the link to in our PowerPoint. They've donated $104 million, $7 million donated to fund frontline indigenous and marginalized communities. Another cool statistic is that 100% of Patagonia's products we take back for recycling. So if you have something that doesn't fit, you can send it right back to Patagonia, and you can join the fight with them. So enjoy this chart, read along with it. Patagonia is a great company right now. They're doing a lot of great things. They are a hot commodity amongst many young people because they have a lot of viewpoints that young people can relate with, and they're trying to convince that older generations that what Patagonia is doing is what most companies need to do, and they're really setting the bar, and they are doing things right. So I think you'll really enjoy this, and how Patagonia is revolutionizing the way corporate social responsibility is done. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy my presentation.